The need for food in the community is greater than ever. The Greenport Elementary School and ShopRite are teaming up to add tons of food to local pantries. This is Principal George Esposito.
This year's food drive motto is "Let's fill the food pantry." And what we are asking every student at Greenport School to do is to bring in food. It can be a pound of food, it can be 2 pounds of food. It doesn't matter what it is. Every pound of food helps. We just had a fire recently here in town, and you never know when you or your parents may need to go to the food pantry. None of us want a fire, but it happened. And those people who were left homeless were able to go to the food pantry to get food. So your economic status does not matter. It can happen to you, it can happen to me. We never know when we may need the food pantry. So let's fill the food pantry. Bring in your food, a pound, 2 pounds, whatever. 1 can, 2 cans, 10 cans. It all helps.
Catholic Family Charities spokesperson, Sister Adelina.
I want you to know that there are some children who do not have the food that you might have for your lunch. If they're in school, they're fine, but if they're home and smaller than you are, some of their parents don't have enough food to give them, so they come to our pantry. And it's so nice to be able to see them smile when they come in with their parents and get the food that you brought them. I know that keeps them happy and it'll make them strong like you are.
ShopRite Representative Keith Mortifolio says the local supermarket chain and its employees are getting involved.
Hello boys and girls, my name is Keith Mortifolio and I'm a representative for ShopRite. This year at our food drive we're going to try something different. For every 25 pounds you guys raise, we're going to donate a book to your library. Now we want to make this a big success. The more books, the better it's going to be. So everybody's going to have a big drive this year and let's go for it.
The food drive runs the entire month. Hudson students got a unique opportunity to learn more about music, thanks to the Hudson Opera Association and Dr. Andrew Appel and the Four Nations Ensemble. The special series of concerts and mini-seminars are part of the Arts and Education program spearheaded by Hudson Partnership Coordinator Janet Schnitzer.
And I wanted to ask you, if you were going to sit down at dinner and you sat down and there was your plate in front of you, and on your plate there was nothing but string beans, just a whole plate of just string beans. Pretty terrible. Or what if you sat down and all there was 1 lamb chop? Nothing else. Not so interesting. And so in music, when composers write pieces of music, they don't want to give you 1 string bean for your ear or 1 lamb chop for your ear. They want to give you bunches of different stuff. They want to give you some vegetables, some meat, maybe a potato, something like that, some dessert. So when they write a piece of music, they write a piece of music with many movements. So it's not just one thing, but usually 2 or 3 or 4. So we're going to play for you 2 pieces today, and we're going to give you 2 movements of each piece so you can get a sense of the variety, like a good meal. A good piece of music should sort of be like a good meal. And the 2 composers we're going to play are from different countries. One of them is from France, and his name is François Cooperative. Let me ask you to say that. Say François. Oh, that's very good. You've got the R. The R is really hard because you have to get it in the back of your throat. François, and then the last name is Cooperative. François Cooperative. It's pretty good. We'll do that in class. And he worked at a palace one of the most extraordinary palaces in the world. It was where there was the king and there was the queen, and there were all the courtiers. Now, this palace was one big house, but it was so big that 20,000 people lived in it. Now, there are only 7,000 people living in all of Hudson. So 20,000 people lived in this house, and they all worked there for the king, and they all wanted life to be very sweet, very delicate, and very pleasant. So the kind of music they listened to was sweet and lovely. It wasn't very exciting. And Cooperative, our composer, always used to say that he didn't like things that surprised him. He liked things that moved him, that sort of touched him. So that's where his head was about this. He didn't want anything to be too surprising. So we have to play for you a prelude and then a country dance by François Couperin, 2 movements.
What do they see?
They walk into the gym, which they know very well, and they know what they do here in this gym. They have lunch and they do sports, but they come in and they see this harpsichord, this instrument they've never seen before, and Ryan and Loretta and myself, who are, I think we try and look normal, but we're really not. And then I sort of say hello to them and try and introduce them to a world that they have very little connection with, and make it feel very comfortable for them. And I think by the end of certainly by the end of the week, but even after the first concert, I think they're intrigued and happy they're here.
They're treated in the morning to a mini concert.
Right. A half hour of really beautiful music. And music that sort of centers them, makes them think about important and nice stuff. How do you think, what makes music interesting to you? What about music is interesting, and how does it make sense?
There's different beats and different tones and different patterns to it.
So lots of variety and lots of different things going on. Different rhythms, different beats, different patterns. Good. The first time he does it, he puts in this piece of music. I'll do the first couple. And then he repeats the melody again. Now that had a little different character. It wasn't as simple as the melody. The melody is really simple. This had some really sweet and maybe almost sad things. But then he puts in another section in between. You want to do the last one, the minor one? Which is really different.
The reaction to the music
Is almost always very positive. And even when their reaction is negative, we stick with that. We talk to them about it and try and pull out of it some reason why they really are getting a message from the music.
Now, it's not just the concert. You meet in small groups and you do other things.
We meet in small groups. We listen very carefully to a specific piece. We take it apart with them. We talk about the world around the piece of music and then their responses. What we're really trying to do is have the kids see an image of themselves in our music so that they can feel as if the music is a reflection of their own lives, which is what we feel about this music.
What's the most frequently asked question?
By the kids or by... anything from how long have you been playing the instruments, how hard do you have to work. Fortunately, the kids never ask us, can we make a living? That's their parents' big question. It's underwritten by the Hudson Opera House with grants from various organizations, Berkshire Taconic, as well as the Paul Foundation in New York, that has been supporting Four Nations for many years and decided to support us up here.
Kids gave the performance and classes a big thumbs up.
I thought that they were really good and they sounded like they've been doing this forever. Well, they had been doing it most of their life, but it sounded really good and made you want to feel like that you want to get up and dance to some of their songs.
It just gives you like a feel for classical music, what they're playing. It's great that they came to our school, and it was just cool.
What about the instruments?
I want to play the harpsichord because I play the piano and I think that's really cool.
I personally like the violin just because of the sound and the texture of the music that it plays.
What do you think most kids were saying after they went through this?
I think they were saying that they really liked it because they probably had never heard that kind of music before, maybe on a cassette tape, but not in real life.
That they were like listening to like rock and all that stuff, and they like never heard of the classical music, and it just makes them feel better that they're not listening to that stuff anymore.
A well-known area legislator took time from his busy schedule to read with some second graders. State Senator Stephen Saland is committed to public education. He visited Jan Lynch's students at the Greenport School to read and to demonstrate the importance of reading at home and at school.
Good morning. What a wonderful greeting. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Well, I work in Albany. That's where the state capital is. I have an office right here in Hudson. And I also have an office in Poughkeepsie because I represent all of Columbia County and almost all of Dutchess County, and Poughkeepsie's in Dutchess County.
Did you run for senator this year?
I ran for senator this year for the 4th time, and I was reelected. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to go back to Albany in January. And I will be in the Senate for another 2 years because that's how long our terms are.
Reading is the most important thing that we teach the children. It's the basis of everything they learn and do throughout their entire life. We really hit reading very hard here at Greenport School. We start out in the fall with the Reading Olympics. We invite the parents to read with the children. We get them started with the Reading Olympics in the fall, reading 20 minutes each night with the children. Encourage the parents to read every night with the children, 20 minutes. We have drop everything and read time every day. Of course, we have our regular reading. I actually do reading twice a day with these children besides drop everything and read.
Why is it important to have other, let's say, members of the community, other people in reading to kids?
Oh, that's very important because we want the children to know how it's important to everyone to read, and we have guest readers all through the whole entire year.
What should parents do at home? When parents come and say, what can I do at home, what do you tell them?
Well, I tell them first to read to their children, have the children read to them, have reading materials around on the children's reading level and their interest level, and it is extremely important.
And then the class shouted, 24! There's something peculiar about that plant, muttered Clementine to Claire.
I think Andrew thought about the time she fell off her bike and scraped both her knees and her mother carried her home. There were cows on Calico Farms. Bertha was their leader. Is that Bertha going moo? Oh, that's Bertha, huh? Okay. Each morning after milking, Bertha led Tiny, Mossy, Violet, and the others into the meadow to a spot where the grass was long and lush. Okay. There's Bertha leading the way, and there's the meadow. And the water was cold and clear. You see the water? On the hot days, see the sun up there? It makes it really hot when that sun is way up there in the sky. Bertha knew how to stay cool. How did Bertha know to stay cool? Where did she go? All right. On cloudy days, Bertha knew exactly when it was time to lie down and get ready for rain. From sunrise to sunset, Bertha never let Tiny, Mossy, Violet, or the others out of her sight. One morning, after milking, Bertha was bathed and brushed. Her hooves were polished. Anybody go to the county fair in September? You see the cows there? Yeah. Bertha was going to be shown at the county fair. There was no time to lead the cows into the meadow. For the first time, Tiny, Mossy, Violet, and the others were on their own. There goes Bertha going up the ramp of the truck on her way to the county fair. They trotted to the other side of Route 66 where the grass was the greenest they'd ever seen. The corn was freshly picked and the strawberries were perfectly ripe. Everything was so delicious. The cows forgot all about Bertha and Calico Farm. Looks like they're having quite a day. Looks like they're eating everything. Then they tasted the water. It was heated and treated. Well, I have to tell you, I enjoy it immensely. I've had 4 children, spent a lot of time reading to my 4 children night before they would call it quits. There's nothing more important than reading. Reading is the key to the future, key to success. It opens doors that would not otherwise be possibly opened.
Around 7:30, 8 o'clock, moms and dads are tired. What advice would you give as far as reading with their kids, even though they're dog tired?
Just do it. There's no better way to help get your kids interested. There's really, it's good for not only your children, but it's good for you. It's more than educational. It's a way of bonding. It's something that I'm sure your children will always cherish, always remember.
I think art is very important, as does the rest of my department. And I think a lot of the parents in the community, there have been a lot of tests recently which have come out to show that students who have art or programs in the arts tend to have higher SAT scores, etc., so it tends to follow through with academics.
You have art displayed throughout the year.
That's correct. Within the school, within Hudson High, within the other schools, Greenport, General Edwards, etc. And we try to show the best work that our students do, all the work that our students do.
Judy Adams chairs the art department in the Hudson City School District.
You have art displayed throughout the year.
That's correct. Within the school, within Hudson High, within the other schools, Greenport, General Edwards, etc. And we try to show the best work that our students do, all the work that our students do.
The big show, of course, comes in March when there's a rather large display at Columbia Green Community College. What did people see this year?
They saw a whole variety of different things, two-dimensional and three-dimensional, a lot of different art mediums, painting, a lot of clay work from our pottery students, sculpture from the elementary students, a lot of drawing, use of imagination, a whole variety of different things. And now here are some highlights from the Hudson City School District Annual Art Show at Columbia Green Community College. having a good art program helps you develop a creative thinker, which obviously applies in later life in jobs in a variety of different fields.
Remembering the warning, Cinderella ran from the prince's arms, out of the ballroom, and down the steps of the palace. In her haste, she lost one of her glass slippers. Wait, wait, cried the prince. I don't know your name.
What makes me laugh? Tickle toes, a big red nose, being rude, silly food, acting crazy, my friend Maisie. What makes me cry? Why's that string a fall from the swing?
Here are the dogs, pleased as can be, climbing up ladder, walking on a wall, bringing home the shopping, standing up tall, fetching paper, opening the letter, collecting an egg, learning to beg.
These Hudson kids are helping other Hudson kids to read. This is an ongoing reading program between the middle school and the John L. Edwards School.
I don't know, I just do. I don't know. Just like reading to kids.
What you're seeing and hearing is a very successful reading program that involves the two schools in the Hudson City School District. It involves the big kids from the middle school and the little kids from the Edwards School. It's a multi-age, cross-grade level reading program. This is kindergarten teacher Donna Acousti.
We really don't have a name for it except it's cooperative reading. The sixth grade in my kindergarten class get together every Monday for half an hour, and the sixth grade read to the children and then do activities along with my reading program. And it usually is a letter a week, and whatever letter I'm working on, Mr. Vile's class does a project around that letter.
This has been going on for some time.
This is actually our second year with Mr. Vile. We did it last year and it was quite successful, and we decided that we'd like to do it again. And this is Mr. Vile's class from last year. He took his children to sixth grade this year, and they already knew how to do it, and they enjoyed doing it, and my children really look forward to seeing the sixth grade.
What do kids get out of this? What do kindergarten kids get out of it?
It's a supplemental to what I'm doing in the classroom. Plus, it's more peer interact. It's closer to their age group, and they get a different sense of reading styles and different types of teaching methods, because each child works with them differently. Plus, they get the individualization that at times I can't give them.
Why, kindergarten kids, why is it so important that they read?
Oh, kindergarten is a foundation. We need to really give them a good foundation in kindergarten so that they can be successful throughout their academic career.
Middle school teacher Joseph Vile.
They like the interaction among the students, and then they're also becoming like a teaching assistant. I don't know, I just came up with the idea because I read about it in one of the educational journals that students of upper grade level can be very successful in working with the children at lower grade level. And they become like teaching assistants, and they have a sense of accomplishment. Plus, they have a sense of working with a lower grade level, and they actually are helping the teacher with the letters of the alphabet and other areas of the curriculum.
Well, I like it because I like the little kids and the way they are, and they just like look up to us. I think it's cool.
Do you think little kids should read maybe a little bit more than they are right now?
Yeah, because They read like so little that it's like they should read a little more. And when we're reading to them, they like, some of them have to like look around and they really don't pay attention as much.
Pretty tough teacher?
No, not really.
This is the award-winning Hudson High School Band.
Welcome to CEIP, Career Exploration Internship Program. A part of School to Work, a new way of linking young people in meaningful work, classroom learning with workplace learning, and education with careers. CEIP benefits everyone: students, employers, parents, school systems, and communities. Students benefit from real-world experiences to help focus their career interests. Parents gain confidence that their children's education is meaningful and provides worthwhile options after high school. Employers benefit from an improved educational system and opportunities to develop skilled young employees who can contribute to advancing the goals of the company. School systems and communities benefit from greater numbers of high school graduates who are capable of obtaining meaningful employment and continuing their formal education. Following as an example of such a program, Hudson High School seniors at Columbia Memorial Hospital.
The high school itself has identified a problem where students were graduating and not really having a practical or a real idea of what the work experience was all about. And the part that was lacking in their experience is they were choosing from a piece of paper what was actually happening in a job situation rather than actually meeting the people and having a realistic viewpoint from somebody who was actually doing the job, who was actually functioning on a day-to-day basis in that position. This gives them a realistic outlook. It gives them more opportunity to make those career decisions that they didn't have all the pieces in place to make before.
Janet Schnitzer heads up the Business Liaison Program for the Hudson City School District.
The program that we've been running with the Columbia Memorial Hospital since last spring has been to introduce students to various jobs and health careers and to give them an opportunity to select an area that they are very interested in and to match them up with a medical person or a physician's assistant or someone in pharmacy to enable them to see what it would be like to really go into this field as a career and what they would have to do to plan for it. And it gives them an opportunity to see what people are really doing on the job.
She praised the leadership role that the hospital has taken.
When Jane Ehrlich came on board as the Chief Executive Officer of the hospital, she really encouraged us to consider initiating this program. It was a program that we wanted to have ever since we started looking for partnerships with other businesses in the community, but it was her foresight that really got us going, and it has been very successful.
The hospital's physician assistant, David Williams, said the job shadowing program, like the one in Hudson, helped him focus on a career.
I got involved in a similar type of program as on-the-job experience, just basically learning CPR and hanging around the local emergency departments and just kind of watching things. And I said, this is what I want to do, and I just kept going to school and plucking away, and finally I graduated. 5 years later, here I am.
Students praised the job shadowing experience.
I made my decision to go into the pharmaceutical field before I visited the hospital, and this gave me a chance to see pharmacists that work inside a hospital setting.
It made me really realize that I wanted to be in the health field. I wasn't quite sure whether that's exactly what I wanted to do before this program, but by following a doctor around all day, this is what I really want to do.
I learned a lot. I really find out that
being a doctor was what I wanted to do, but I didn't really sure about it. And I watched the doctors and help out with what they was doing, so I like it a lot, and I'm gonna go out and try to do it. I like to help people.
We have an interest in the community, in working with the community. This is one of those pieces that is a very important part, our young people. We have an investment in the future of these young people. So it's an easy thing to buy into.
Job shadowing programs like this one here at Hudson High really benefit the kids.
This job shadowing program links student interest with real jobs in the community. If you'd like more information on this partnership, contact the Hudson High School Guidance Office.
Each year, schools present an annual budget to the voters.
School budgets show where the money comes from and where the money goes.
These school budgets are a financial plan which show how a district will operate in the next year.
Your Board of Education started working on the budget before Thanksgiving.
Frequent budget work session explored spending options.
It's the Board of Education's job to provide quality education while controlling the cost to the property owner.
Here's where the money comes from to run our schools.
39% of the total budget comes from local sources like school taxes. 61% comes from state and federal funds. Here's a look at where the money is spent.
5% of the budget goes for the buses to get us to school. Interfund transfers make up 9%. Employee benefits are about 17%. And 57% of the budget pays for salaries.
On May 6th, voters of the Hudson City School District will be able to vote on their budget. Passage by the voters means that the budget will be the financial blueprint for the next school year. Local residents actually vote on only 1% of the budget. Most of the programs provided by school districts are mandated by law. Voting down the budget means the Board of Education would adopt what's called a contingency budget. The contingency budget means that the Board of Education can only provide for teachers and staff salaries, service for non-public school students, textbooks and library books, special ed, kindergarten and nursery programs, BOCES and Questar 3 services.
Voting down a budget would also mean that schools could not pay for
all interscholastic athletics like football, basketball, and baseball, any new equipment like computers, field trips, retirement incentives for teachers and staff, after-school activities like the GAP program, dance recitals, and community plays, and public use of the pool.
It also includes the public use of school buildings and grounds.
Organizations currently using the facilities include
The Hudson Youth Department would not be able to use buildings and facilities for programs like
Each school has a complete list of what's covered in the contingency budget. Additional copies of the budget are available in all schools and in the business office.
Be sure to vote May 6th.
Polls will be open from noon to 9 p.m.
And thanks for watching.
This is the award-winning Hudson High School Band. The Hudson Band traveled to Virginia recently to compete head-to-head with some of the best bands in the United States. This is band director Mickey Null.
We've had a real good year. I've got a really good group of kids here this year. We've done a lot of things. We've been down to West Point this year for their band day, and we just came back from Virginia Beach.
What happened there?
A band competition and a choral competition. We took just the band this year, and there were about 10 bands down there.
Who competed?
Well, there's schools from all over the eastern United States. Different weekends they go down and they compete for trophies.
What do you account for your success?
Well, I'm not sure about for our success. We have a good bunch of kids here, and that's them playing by themselves back there. But we worked real hard this year. We went grade 4, which is a pretty hard level, and we took second prize down there.
Everybody would like, I think, to play an instrument. What's it take?
It takes good work ethic. It takes someone intelligent. It takes someone that's got some coordination. Everyone wants to play an instrument until they find out the hard work that goes with it, and that's why a lot of people don't stay with it. It's a lot of work.
You're always building on the success of the band. When you look for new people, if somebody's interested in music, what should they do?
Well, from a standpoint of the high school level, I can't have a program here unless we have the program at the middle school. You don't create trombone players up here. You have to have a good program with good kids being sent to me. That's the important thing.
What can parents do at home?
Well, without supportive parents, you're not going to have a successful program. You've got to have mom and dad behind the kids to have them in a band program.
Were you surprised at your success in Virginia?
Well, we worked really hard. We sounded good. The Conic Hills was also down there. They did very well also. A lot of bands are doing this now because it's something important and the kids are enjoying themselves.
school band also participates in a number of community functions throughout the year.
Conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. The living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work, which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we have increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom. In Flanders fields, the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks, still barely singing, fly, scarce heard among the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders field.
Meet Hudson High School students who are learning how to float their boat. They're members of Jack Byers' technology class, and they're learning firsthand about marine transportation. It's a problem-solving activity where students have to design, build, and field test their boats. Students give the class and project a big thumbs up.
Well, we started learning how to, like different hull designs, and we started about boat safety. And then we finished making these boats that have to go across the sink.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being really lousy, 10 being really great, how would you describe the whole project?
About a 9.
This is a unit we're doing in marine transportation. These kids are designing small paddle boats or propeller-propelled boats. I gave them some guidelines in which they have to design a boat that fits in the sink that we have over here. It's about 5 feet long, and we time it to see how fast it takes it to go from one end to the other.
They start from scratch.
They start from scratch. They can use real thin wood, or we have some styrofoam they can use to shape and design these hulls.
Where do they get to designs?
I go over the basic hull designs of boats between displacement, flat bottom, deep V, catamaran, and even a hovercraft.
You also spend a lot of time on safety as well.
Yeah, one of the things is that the state would like us to do, because this class has a state test, is go over boating safety with these kids as far as life preservers, you know, the rules and regulations of boats, different sizes, and things of that nature.
This is all part of a technology program that's mandated by the state of New York. Someone who's not aware of what it is, how would you describe a technology program?
Well, it's changed a lot. It's not your old traditional shop class. There's a lot of problem-solving activities in here where the kids have to think for themselves. You give them a problem, they have to solve it.
What do you think's so unique about this as a classroom teacher?
you see all the different ideas these kids come up with. Some things are so crazy and far-fetched, and some are very traditional. And you know, I'm looking for a kid to spark an interest in this type of field.
Find out more about curriculum changes by calling the Hudson High School Guidance Office.